All right, welcome back. We have a call in now from Dr. Suleiman Abdullahi. He's a domestic election
Now,
observer in Kogi State. Let's hear from him and what he's observed so far today. Good afternoon, Dr. Suleiman.
well, afternoon, Amadi. How are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. And you?
I'm good. The area is very good. Fine.
All right, please tell us your observations so far.
Come again, please.
Please tell us your observations so far. I understand you're a domestic observer, so tell us what you've observed.
Okay. From so far, I have gone to about 3 local governments in Central. I went to Okene local government, Adavi, and Okehi. I went to some of the polling unit, and the turnout was so impressive. Then the peaceful conduct of the election is high. Then the turnout also, I can tell you, is very impressive. When you talk of obeying the rules and regulations of the electoral process, that is law and order, I can tell you is very high. The only problem that I observe here is that they have this, most of the electorate lack this electoral education, that they don't know how to go about it. You see everybody will just gather in some places shouting because they are not being attended to in time. So everybody want to cast his vote and go immediately as early as possible. Because if they have the understanding for them to exercise their franchise, they need to exercise patience and understand the due process of the electoral process. That is where we have, I see that, look, that one I mark it to be low. Then gender sensitive. Most of the polling units are gender sensitive. I don't know how they are able to manage to organize themselves like that. Most of the polling units, you have tents like canopy where they have chairs for old women, aged men, and even nursing mother that they give them. And there are some polling units I went. We couldn't believe that from our handicaps, we are being given special preferential treatment. They are given place to sit down comfortably and conveniently for them to exercise their franchise. So to me, the election so far was very okay and very interesting. In terms of security-wise, there is no any security threat at all. All the security operatives have been working around the clock since I came out in the morning by 7 o'clock a.m. All the soldiers, the military guys are on their duty post. The policemen are also on their post, and the civil defense are taking their own duty serious, moving from one polling unit to the other to make sure there is no any security threat or issues. And so far so good. Since morning I have been on the field observing the whole election process. It is calm, cool, and very alright, and very peaceful. Like I'm telling you now, there is no any issue of ballot snatching or beating or anything. So the people are really conducted themselves very well, and I'm happy from what I have seen here, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Sulaiman. But now let's take a little bit, let's take a detour to some of the things that you mentioned. You talked about the handicap, that they've been treated with they've been given preferential treatment. Is this treatment from the electoral umpire, or is it from the security officials, or from the electorate themselves? Because they've always complained about inclusion when it comes to election matters.
The electorate themselves show some kind of understanding, and the electoral umpires all together. I think it was a teamwork joined together. But there are some polling units you go to, you meet there are no security men there, but instantly we are able to inform them and then deploy 1 or 2 of the security men to some of those polling units. So good so far. Yes, the issue of the handicap, it is a teamwork, that they look at some age people and that they are weak, they could not stand for long on the queue. So they make an arrangement for them to sit down, and whenever it is their turn, they will call them and make them exert their franchise. So to me, I think it is very orderliness the way they have gone through the whole process, and I'm really happy with it. Except some other areas, just like I mentioned, the issue of education. So, and there are a lot of volunteers. A lot of volunteers here came out. Let me tell you, I was surprised to see a lot of groups that have volunteered to conduct the whole process to be peaceful. You see people organizing themselves in queue the whole system serious. So nobody is trying to lose any side of the whole of the game completely. So everybody wants to be inclusive in the whole process. This time around, I've seen a lot of volunteers, not the electorate, not the electoral or umpire or the security men. These are just pure volunteers that volunteer to see the whole process being peaceful. So it is quite interesting and very orderliness.
All right, so let's talk about votes trading, either vote buying or vote selling. Did you observe anything in that regard in the police unit where you've been observing?
Like what? Please come over again.
We're talking about vote trading, either vote buying or vote selling. Have you seen anything like that happening?
To the best of my knowledge, yes, I have not seen any such a thing like this. There's nothing like vote buying or selling. People just go and do their accreditation. They'll be given clearance, and you'll see them going to get the ballot report to cast their vote. So, except in one place whereby I saw it's not buying vote buying, whereby the part they are using is right. So they have to go around. You see, volunteers went around to get them ink to fill their part so that they could print the ballot paper. So as far as voting buying is concerned, I have not witnessed anyone, and nobody has told me or informed me that, look, I have witnessed anyone. So far as I'm talking to you, people are now back on the street, moving around safely and smoothly, conducting themselves in orderliness manner. So there's no any threat, no any security issue. As I'm talking to you, I'm living from one local government to another to see the counting process, how it's going on. So far, everybody is being calm, waiting for the outcome of the results as far as they are concerned.
And this calmness is also, you all can also attest this calmness to what you can find with the security officials also?
Yes, the calmness, the security officers, I can tell you categorically, they are superb. They have shown some level of professionalism that, look, you just have to applaud them, because the security operatives have conducted themselves. They move around from one street to the other, from one police unit to the other, from one ward to the other, to make sure that, look, they maintain the orderliness and they maintain the high level of security alert. And the people were actually directed to be security conscious, and the restriction of movement during the whole process was being obeyed.
Before we finally let you go, Doctor,
they make every citizen to understand this is election process, and you don't need to take law into your hand. So far, so good. Except where we, on our way from one of the local governments, we saw two women that are finding it difficult to go to their polling unit because it is about 10 to 15 kilometer drive. So they need to, there's no movement, and when we ask them, they seem so tired and weak, and they are so optimistic that, look, they are focused, they want to cast their vote. So in this aspect, we need to help them and lift them from that point to their polling unit. And they show some level of appreciation, and you see them smiling, they are actually very happy. So I don't know, next time, I think I will advise here that there should, even though there's restriction of movement, there should be officials that could move people from one area to the other. Women that have gotten have registered in one polling unit or one ward, and she got married the following year or 2 years. If she is to leave the local government of where she's married to from her husband to their family house where she registered before, it's a serious trekking or a distance. So they need to make arrangements for such movement. It's not easy for nursing women, old women to trek from distance. So I think that is another challenges I'm seeing here today that needs to be addressed henceforth.
All right, let me just put one in. Dr. Suleiman, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mr. Mani.
Yeah, you spoke about gender balance. What about age demography? Are you saying a lot of young or old persons, or
no. I will tell you, most of these old women, we ask some of their words, one or two places I cited them, and we inform them it's wrong, that look, even if you are old, you can tell the next person behind you or before you to understand you are tired, you want to go home, when it is your time, you come back. So we make them understand that, look, child under age are not expected.
All right.
implication, and they adhere to it. They listen to us with all fairness, and they adjust to the system. So there's not like a child voting here.
Oh, great. All right. So on a final note, before we let you go, Dr. Abdullahi Suleiman, would you actually say, as a domestic election observer, are you confident? Would you actually give the electoral umpire, and also with regards to this outing, would you give them a pass mark? And if you have to give them a pass mark, judging from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, what will be your judge?
Let me tell you, from 1 to 10, I will mark them high, not higher, because I've seen them before 8 o'clock, 8:30. Most of the polling units have started accreditation and voting. So you see, there is no any issue from the electoral umpire. So with this, I think we can mark them very excellent. They have done their best, and the electoral also show their cooperation, and the security men show their integration. So the whole thing was just like a family agenda. Everybody knows it's right and know what to do and what not to do. So people are being conscious of, look, there are security men around, and the electoral empire were very mindful of the look. There are camera, and this is an ICT information, ICT village, whereby everybody is video covering what is happening. Everybody wants to be inclusive, so everybody is mindful of his action, from the electorate to the electoral umpire to the security men and the volunteers. Everybody is very, very conscious of what he's doing.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Suleiman Abdullahi. It's been a wonderful time having this talk with you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having you one more time.
And do stay safe right there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so now let's come back here. Now let's bring that question to you, Mr. Dabas. Now I hear him talk about election or electoral education. Who is to be blamed with regards to electoral education? Is it the electoral umpire or the political parties themselves?
Well, that responsibility is for observers.
Oh.
Observers are supposed to sensitize and educate the electorate.
The observers?
The observers.
Okay.
That's our responsibility, to educate. Well, we have a department in INEC that is started with this responsibility, but they can't do it alone, and that's why we come in. Okay. So we, as the observers, are given the responsibility to educate, sensitize and educate the electorate on what they should expect. And that's why we at Polling Unit Ambassadors of Nigeria, we have what we call pre-election, election, and post-election activities. The pre-election is sensitization. How you need to vote. First of all, register and get your voter's card. Ensure that your voter's card is close to your polling unit is close to where you resident, so that you don't go far from just like what he's telling us now. Doctor is saying that some persons have to travel 15 kilometers to a particular polling unit. But of course, that has been handled. That's why we do transfer of your voter's card to your closest polling unit. So it's our responsibility to educate them, to get their voter's card, to prepare for the day of election, collect their voter's card, prepare for the day of election, come out on the day of election, cast their vote, and it doesn't stop there. Organize yourself for what we call town hall meeting. We tell them that those people who were elected, they came to us with promises. They told us promises from A to Z. We'll give them 1 year and call them to a town hall meeting and asked, those promises that you made, we want to see how far you've gone with those promises. No politician will know that you are a voter, you have a valid voter's card, and you are calling him to come and give his stewardship to the people.
Okay, so sorry I have to call in there, because you talked about valid voters card. I hear there's a particular report that Famous talked about where he said some journalists came out to say that if you don't have Ahmadine, I think you can help us with that. If you don't have a PVC voter brother, what was that statement they made?
Where some actors thought journalists were voters, so they said, you know what, come and vote for our brother, you don't need voter's card, just come over.
How
they didn't know they were
that
speaking to journalists. So you
don't need a voter's card to vote?
That is what they told the journalists, who they thought were what's it called, electorate
Oh, of course. Well, it's not possible in our electoral process that if you don't have a voter's card, you can vote. You must have a voter's card to vote.
All right, let's quickly take this call. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Abdul Fatai. I'm calling from Ilori, Forest Protection.
Abdul Fatai from Ilori. Go ahead.
Okay. Actually, it's also good as regards this mandatory election in Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo State specifically. But the turnout of people that was lower in number has clearly shown that Nigerians, the people voter, are more or less not confident in our leaders. So what I would like to say is that for our leaders, they need to do the needful to satisfy the conscience of Nigerian voters by ensuring that all the promises they made to we voters are fulfilled without deceitful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Abdullah, for that contribution. Please land on your thoughts.
Yeah. So, like I said, you in Nigeria, in our electoral system, there's no way you can cast your vote without the voter's card. So that information is completely wrong.
But if you want to bring it to technicalities,
yes.
What is that on the election day? Your voter's card, does it have any sort of chip or identification? All it does is shows that the person standing before you is the person who owns this card. So the actual process, as long as you are registered, in fact, I'd even go as far as say that there's a current, there's an existing judgment that says that Nigerians should be allowed to use their temporary voters' cards to vote. So, the question is, if there's complicity on the part of, as allegedly assuming, there's complicity on the part of the umpire, and you are registered, but you don't have your card, you can't vote, can't you?
You can't vote if you don't have the plastic voter's card. You can't vote. That is, for today, this is the law, and that is it. You can't vote without that plastic voter's card. Because, of course, the electoral law says you must have a voter's card to vote. And so if anyone tells me that I can vote without a voter's card, I see no reason why such should be promoted. Like we said, after the election, all those people, I know one of the challenges we have in this country is because we don't ask questions. The electorate don't ask questions. And that's why we are now trying to tell them that when you elect a leader, you have the right to call the leader to question. Because you sent him to represent you. And if you send a leader to represent you, the good thing you should do after a year or two, or before the end of his tenure, let him know that he made promises, and those promises must be kept. Both in our religious life, we know that if we make promises, we must keep those promises. In our secular life, we must keep those promises. So we must not allow these politicians to come and make promises to us, and at the end of the day, they keep to those promises. So we must ask questions, and that's why we organize and then see how we can bring all those people who have a voter's card to a particular space and invite their leader in that same community to tell them what he has done for the period of time that he has been given the mandate to lead them.
Right.
When we do that, we'll address a lot of things in this country.
Okay. You've been speaking about observers. Don't you think political parties get too much of a free pass as to what should also count for responsibility on their part? Because they stand to gain if the voters know what to do. Taking this to another issue that happened recently, where some INEC recs were recommended by the president, and they were found to have some sort of tie to the president or to the APC or to the Senate president in one form or another. Now the issue is, it's CSOs like yourself who have come out to call it out, to say this is wrong, this is not right. But interestingly, within the House there, the opposition parties, the Labour Party, the PDP, SDP, they're usually silent, even though they are watching and seeing that the people being confirmed have some ties to the party that is in power, but they don't speak. So I wonder, do political parties keep getting a free pass for things that they should also participate in and also aid and help to sanitize our electoral system?
You see, the political system has been bastardized to an extent where as long as I get what I want, I will not make too much noise about it. That's where it has gotten to. But let me also take you back, not just the political parties. We also found out that, I told you a story about Ekiti, where in the front of the chief palace, there is a queue for collecting money and another queue for voting. We have party agents in those places. I personally interviewed some few party agents and I say, what is your take regarding to what is happening here? And he said he doesn't know. He's not even here. The truth about it is that the country itself is bleeding. The political parties and the political system is not helping us because everybody wants to have a bite. And once you have a bite, you don't talk much. Just imagine the issue of the vehicle, 160 million naira vehicle. Nobody said anything about it. Even when we have Labour Party and other political parties who are there, but because they are going to benefit from it, they didn't say anything. So the sensitization for the electorate, the political parties are supposed to. Recently, before this election, we met one of the political party in Imo to say, we want to sensitize the people on your behalf. Will you sponsor it? Do you know what they told us? We don't need it.
All right, let's quickly hear from our correspondent still in Kogi. Hello, Francis.
Hello.
Great to hear from you. How is it going, Francis? I'm sure it's actually been a very busy day for you. Tell us. Okay, what's happening?
Okay, from Kogi West here, Ayeto Ubede precisely, the voting process has been quite peaceful and free also, just like we reported from Kogi Central. However, some of the polling units, the results from some of the polling units have been counted and they're already on their way to the local government collation center at the moment.
All right. One last we spoke, you made mention that you were headed to the former senator and PDP governorship candidate, Senator Dino Menai's country home. What can you tell us about that? We saw the clips you sent, but is there any more you can tell us about his countenance, his disposition, and what really is going on from the PDP end?
You know, talking about his countenance, as I said earlier, he has expressed dissatisfaction over the fact that some of the electoral materials from the INEC staff, I'm talking about the result sheet now, already filled in result sheet was found on some INEC officials, and that's largely his major complaint so far. And as regards the voting from his ward and other polling units, it has been free, and the security of it has been professional. No voter intimidation, and we are yet to see. As at the time we left, we didn't see any form of vote buying.
All right. Just as a form of fact-checking and verification, there are reports flying about, or rumors, that at that particular engagement where you were present, that the PDP candidate actually outrightly rejected the votes in totality. That is, he has rejected the election when it was barely 3 p.m. already. So, I don't know if you can confirm or debunk that for us.
Talking about rejecting the outcome of the election, I think that one is at Ogui Magongo, where INEC officials were found with result sheets that were already filled, and he instructed his agent not to allow voting unless they are able to. The INEC officials are able to provide blank result sheet, which they were not able to. And he however alleged some vote buying in some parts of the state by the All Progressives Congress.
Okay, all right. So it wasn't an outright rejection.
All right, so Francis, we let's talk about the polling unit where you went to cover. I'm sure I heard that you're actually in Kaba. So, and then we saw that video from Dino Milai saying that some people were being bought over, or even some people had to sell their votes. What will you tell us in that regard? Like analyst here says that when you are losing out, that's when you begin to cry foul. Is that what is happening there?
I cannot say affirmatively at the moment, because we had an interview with him and he alleged that there were signs of vote buying in some parts of the state by the All Progressives Congress. However, our findings in the various polling units we had visited, we were yet to see any proof of such allegations.
Oh, great. All right, thank you so much, Francis. Let's leave you right there. Do stay safe. We'll call you again when we need to.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for calling.
All right, so would definitely call Victoria from Imo State, because she said she has noticed some vote buying. But before we go to Victoria from Imo State, what would you actually say with regards to what he stated? We've heard a lot of people, almost all the people that we call, say there's no vote buying, there's no insecurity. Does this make election observers and monitors, or does this actually make you sleep well with your two eyes closed?
Well, like I told you, what is happening in Imo and Kogi is interesting. I know that before now I told you that Dino will start making these assertions, because if he finds out that he's not doing well, he will come up with this. And that's what politicians do. There are two major points he raised, the reporter raised, that I liked so much. It talks about the results sheet found on INEC officials. This is very bad for our democracy. Just like he said, before I got here, I have already seen this happening. And these are the tricks of the politicians as well. They know that these commission staffs, most of them are ready to sell out. So if they can't do it this way, they will follow the other way around. But that also leads me now to the polling unit level results that I always tell politicians. Ensure that your agents get that polling unit result. Because in that polling unit result, what you have endorsed by INEC officials, endorsed by the party agents, it's very authentic. So even if they have to bring another results outside what has been done at the polling unit, it will be captured.
Right. All right. I think we already have Victoria online. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Annabelle.
Hi, Victoria. How are you? We've actually not heard from you almost all day.
There was a call in the morning with Olamide and of course Mercy.
Yes. I understand that. So let's get some live feeds from what's happening around you in Imo State. What's the security situation like? What's the voter apathy like? What's the vote trading like? What can you tell us before we round up?
Okay, for instance, voter apathy, it means you already know that there seems to be some level of voter apathy in Imo State already, because basically when we went to Holy Ghost College school, that was the first place we visited.
Where exactly is that? What polling unit is that? What polling unit is that?
College in Owerri Municipal.
Okay.
So at about 8:30, there was nobody aside the INEC officials and some security personnel that were there and polling unit agents. There were no voters there. And we moved straight to other polling units, like, of course, the Girls Secondary School in Owerri West. And well, we saw some level of course, the voters turnout there. However, there seemed to be like because when I interviewed someone at that polling unit, there was just like alliance, sort of alliance that it's APC, it's this political party that they are voting. So I was like, how do you know who someone else is? But they said, we know, ask people we know. So I sent some kind of a voter suppression there. Okay, where vote buying, I also saw vote buying in that, I beg your pardon, that was 10 Iwesi Owerri West. local government area of Imo State.
Okay.
Where, yes, 7, 10, 12, and 24. And it has a total of 5,890 voters in that local government area and polling unit. So there seems to be some sort of, if you go out, at first, the people didn't turn out, but later, with some sort of cursed turnout of voters. But for the numbers which we're expecting, over 2 million people, it's really not something that should be.
Oh, wow. All right.
Okay. Victoria, you spoke about okay.
And that's the security. Yes, the security. Although I heard from my colleagues that there seems to be in one of the southwest, west local governments that there was a snatching of ballots, but I didn't see that for myself. So for me, there's a level of calm in the state, unlike we presumed, because it seems to be like a volatile area, but there was a level of calm, and those who restricted, also who violated the sit at home, not sit at home, but they violated not coming out of your home. They deflated their car.
Right.
The security agents, yes, violated their cars. However, there's calm in the state. For me, I sense calm in the state, unlike what we presume.
All right, Victoria, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, you spoke about witnessing some vote buying. I'd like to know, was that in view of a security operative or some sort, or was it something that was done away from prying eyes? I just want to know if there was a reaction from the security personnel, if they witnessed that.
A political party that was sort of giving cash to some voters, and I saw another an opposition political party saying, you have to capture that, what you think, calling attention of the media, that capture that they are buying votes there. So it was something that was glaring. They were buying votes, paying money to voters at that polling unit. And the voters seem to enjoy collecting it.
Oh, wow. That's really sad. All right, Victoria, take care. We'll definitely call you again to find out if you have more updates to give us, because I'm aware that you're going straight to the collation center, right?
Yes, yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Victoria. Stay safe right out there.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we can see how we start rounding up. Let's get your thoughts with regard to what Victoria said from Imo State.
If you look at one thing that is trending in all the state, probably is, for now, maybe Kogi, is the vote trading. The vote trading, and it means that we need to find a solution, a lasting solution to this. It's already a problem. It's a disease to our democratic system, and we must find a solution to this disease.
Is this disease actually white people? Is it cancerous that we can?
Of course,
we just keep looking for a cure, but it looks like it's not going to come out.
But of course, because poverty has been weaponized to the people, and because the people now have a cost. Every person at the polling unit community has a cost on his head. If he doesn't take 5,000, he will take 10,000. If he doesn't take 10,000, he has a price. That price, if he gets to that price, he will sell. Oh, wow. So we need to find a lasting solution. And I tell you, the lasting solution can never be any other solution from what we have proposed to the commission. If, like I said, if a voter goes into the cubicle and thumbprint on his ballot box, ballot paper, and fold this ballot paper and put in an envelope, nobody knows who he has voted for. Nobody knows. No politician will give you ₦1 for somebody that he is not sure, because I can actually take your money, go in there, do what I want to do, cast my vote for the right person, put it in an envelope, put it in the ballot box. So it has addressed that. The second part is create a blind behind the cubicle so that nobody can see what is happening in there. If these two things are done, my dear, we'll have resolved 80% of this vote buying thing. And we'll have, let me tell you, not just resolve 80% of the vote buying thing. 80% of those who have nothing to do with politics, democracy, will not come to the game.
Oh, all right. Let's get your last word with regards to all that has happened today, being the 11th day of November, with the off-season election from Kogi down to Imo State and Bayelsa. What are your last words?
My last word can just be just one thing. And I would like Nigerians, and most importantly, our politicians and the commission to take this word. Allow the people to elect their leaders. That's my last word. Allow the people. Let the politicians allow the people to elect them. Let the commission, INEC, allow the people to elect their leaders. And let the electorate elect the ones they want to elect.
How about the judiciary?
Well, the judiciary right now, I'm not really comfortable with the judiciary because I know that it has been the saying that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. But even what is happening right now, you can't even have that trust that if there's anything, if I go there, because it now becomes the highest bidder as well. If the executive fails us and the National Assembly failed us, we believe that the judiciary should be able to uphold the law. Now the judiciary, out of pressure, and you just imagine what the last CGN said when the election, they said, we know you guys don't like what happens and all of that, forgive us. You see, this is very disheartening. But my last word, allow the people to elect their leaders.
All right.
Because that will save our democracy. We've worked so hard for this democracy. Let it not go down, because if it does, we all will pay for it.
Most definitely. What a fine place to actually anchor this conversation. Thank you so much, Suleiman Dabas. It's been a wonderful time having this talk with you.
Great.
Always be there. I'd like to be here. This is a home.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for making it home. And thank you so much to our viewers for tuning in. And whether you tuned in via our live broadcast on YouTube or here, thank you so much. We do not take your time for granted at all. We have been chatting with Ambassador Suleiman Dabas, who is the Ambassador General of PWAN, and it's been a wonderful time having this conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in since 8 o'clock this morning right until now, and definitely after today we'll bring you more feeds tomorrow. That's at noon, where we get we'll get feeds from our correspondents in Kogi, in Bayelsa, and in Imo State with regards to the collation centers. It's been a wonderful time here. Thank you so much again for tuning in. I cannot even overstretch this. Thank you. I'm really very grateful for your time with us. My name is Annabelle Oji.
Thank you once again. I am Amadine Oberwe. Like you said, do make sure to join us again tomorrow. We'll continue to bring you more updates from the 3 states all the way to the end, where the winners will be declared. Thanks once again, and bye for now.